The moment before dawn is when truths surface, when the world is quiet enough for destiny to speak clearly. And as the first light crept across the Pride Lands, Kopa felt it deep in his bones that this land was no longer just a place he had entered, but a force that had begun to claim him. Every step he took forward pulled him closer to answers he had spent his entire life running from. Every instinct told him that once those answers were revealed, nothing would ever be simple again. The Lion Guard watched him from a distance, shadows among shadows. Unsure whether they were observing a threat or a test sent by the Circle of Life itself. Kion could not shake the feeling that the Roar reacted differently in Kopa's presence. Not resisting him, not empowering him, but listening. It unsettled him more than any enemy ever had. Power was meant to obey, not hesitate. When conflict finally erupted, it did not begin with claws, but with consequence. A sudden imbalance struck the Pride Lands as outsiders pressed in, sensing weakness, sensing change. Jackals tested borders, vultures circled closer than usual, and whispers of rebellion spread through the outlands like wildfire. The Circle of Life was shifting, and everyone felt it. Kopa did not cause the chaos, but chaos followed him like a shadow that refused to be left behind. The Lion Guard moved to stop the growing threats, and Kopa moved with them, not beside them, not behind them, but intersecting their path again and again, as if fate itself was forcing their stories to collide. Each battle revealed more of who he was. He protected the weak without hesitation. He spared enemies when they surrendered. He refused to claim victory as domination. Slowly, suspicion gave way to confusion, and confusion gave way to respect. Besh saw it first. Strength that did not need to prove itself. Fully felt it in the way Kopa anticipated danger before it struck. Ono recognized tactical awareness sharpened by survival rather than training. Even Bunga, instinctive and blunt, sensed that this lion fought like someone who had lost everything and still chose to stand. Kion confronted Kopa again, this time not as an enemy, but as a protector demanding truth. The question hung heavy between them, unspoken yet undeniable. "Who are you really?" Kopa answered with silence at first, because some truths hurt too much to give away freely. But when he finally spoke, fragments spilled out. A child had torn away. A fall into darkness. Years of survival with no pride to claim him. No king to guide him. No guard to protect him. Simba listened from the edge of the gathering, his heart breaking with every word. The resemblance was no longer deniable. The strength in Kopa's stance. The fire in his eyes. The familiar cadence of his voice. When Kopa described the dreams of golden stone and warm winds, Simba felt the past crash into him like a tidal wave. The truth he had feared for years stood before him, alive, scarred, and unbowed. The revelation shattered the Pride Lands. The lost prince had returned, not as a cub to be protected, but as a warrior shaped by hardship. Some welcomed him with awe, others with doubt. How could someone forged outside the Circle of Life truly belong within it? Could a prince raised without guidance be trusted with legacy? The Lion Guard faced its greatest internal trial. Kion struggled with what it meant to protect a land that now held two heirs shaped by different paths. Sleds. The roar responded unpredictably, amplifying his emotions, testing his leadership. Kopa, sensing the tension, chose not to claim his birthright. Not yet. Power taken too quickly only repeats the mistakes of the past. He had learned that lesson in blood and solitude. When the final threat emerged, it came not from outsiders, but from within. Those who feared change attempted to fracture the Pride Lands, turning unity into weakness. They believed strength alone should rule, that compassion diluted authority. The battle that followed was not just physical, but ideological. Force clashed with balance. Fear clashed with trust. Kopa fought alongside the Lion Guard as an equal, not a prince, not a rival. Near heat of battle, he shielded Kion without hesitation, taking a blow meant to break the roar itself. In that moment, the land chose him. Not as king, not as ruler, but as protector. The circle of life did not crown him. It accepted him. When the dust settled, victory belonged not to power, but to unity. The Pride Land stood stronger than before, reshaped by truth instead of secrecy. Simba approached Kopa beneath the same sky that had once watched him disappear. And for the first time in years, the king bowed his head, not in submission, but in respect. Kopa did not take the throne. He chose the journey. The Lion Guard gained not a replacement, but a reminder that leadership is earned through choice, not birth alone. As Kopa looked out over the Pride Lands, the wind whispered his name again, not as a forgotten echo, but as a promise. His journey had begun in loss, but it would continue in purpose. And the legend of the Lost Prince would no longer be a story of disappearance, but of return,